Yo, what's up, internet?
We just watched another movie.
Yeah, we're on a roll.
Yeah.
December's a busy month.
Yes, Jesus Christ, it is.
It's a film that premiered at South by Southwest. It's called Pet.
Someone's popular. Who's the guy?
I already sort of have a boyfriend, so.
No, you don't.
It's directed by Charles Torrens and it stars Ksenia Solo and Dominic Monaghan and Jeanette McCurdy. And it tells the story of every creepy fedora-wearing person you ever knew. I'm gonna move this a little this way. There we go.
Dude has an obsession with a girl. Girl does not want anything to do with the creepy fuck. Dude thinks the most logical thing to do is, hey, let's build a cage and put her in it.
Yeah. That's the logical
that's the
course of
movie.
action, right? Isn't it?
He's a fedora wearer.
Lady. Yeah, so I mean, I knew this was playing at Brooklyn Horror Film Festival, and I kind of wanted to see it, but it was overlapping with Trash Fire, and I chose the latter. So, I had high hopes going into this, and I was not disappointed.
I had high hopes going into this, and I was mildly disappointed.
It's a really interesting film in that it plays a lot with your expectations, and it spends most of its time turning what you're thinking is going to happen on its head.
But at the same time, was predictable.
To an extent,
To an extent, yes.
Yeah, I do think I like that it spends a lot of its time just turning your expectations on its head, and I do agree that it went a little too far at one point, but I still overall enjoyed it as a film.
I enjoyed aspects of it, I'm going to say.
Okay.
There were definitely a lot of things about this movie I didn't like, but there were probably quite a few that I also really liked.
Okay. You want to just you'll dive right in.
Yeah, sure.
Likes, I think right off the bat, I just want the two leads, Ksenia Solo and Ksenia Solo and Dominic Monaghan.
They absolutely knocked it
Fucking
out of the park.
stellar.
Yeah, that
oh
acting
my
was
god.
Amazing.
They were really both, like, they sold the shit out of these performances, and they were really, like, I was hella impressed. I loved both the way they were, like, both of their characters and both, just the way that they were constantly being, like, shifting on, like, what their actual motivations were, or at least what you're perceiving their motivations to be. I think that was excellent.
Oh, yeah, no, the writing was...
as
far as dialogue goes. The writing for this movie was excellent as well, which helps, but
Right,
the
dialogue and
actors are the
character
ones who
arcs and
really sold
everything,
it.
yeah. That was really, really, really cool. I thought that was, the two, like, Dominic Monaghan was so goddamn creepy. He's every single, like, person who everyone knows a person like him. And that's what made it so just uncomfortable.
Like, the first 20 minutes of this movie was just me going,
He and I were just cringing because it's like one of those people who, like, you can't take a hint and they're just being extra creepy and extra, like, stalky for no reason other than they're just fucking creepy, lonely people.
Yeah, it was...
Literally all he was missing is a fedora.
It was really bad. It was...
In a good way.
In a good way. But...
and then Ksenia Solo was just unreal. Like,
oh, yeah.
Every second she was on screen, I was just watching, I'm like...
What's she gonna do this time?
No, like, for real, though. Like, every single second she's, like, opens her mouth, you're just like, oh, fuck, what's she gonna do next? It was really, really cool, and I love that it subverts the whole idea of, like, imprisonment and all that. It really did a good job at just flipping, like, just turning the tables completely. Oh, how the turntables. I think, cinematography-wise, also, this film was excellent. I think this was a very well-shot movie.
It was gorgeous.
Well shot, well scored. Overall, just really very well crafted film. Overall, like,
yes.
I just really thought it was excellent. Also, some really neat practical effects in there.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Gnarly shit. I liked a twist in this movie, but I didn't like the extent of that twist. They took it further than the initial twist, and it went a little too far, in my opinion. And I think his too.
A little.
Just a little. It wasn't a lot. That being said, it did not prevent my enjoyment of the film, regardless, because it's such a well-made and well-crafted, like, psychological fuck that it's just really cool. Are there any other likes you had to add?
Likes? No, we touched on everything I liked.
Nate the security guard.
Oh yeah, he was great. I don't even know his actor's name, but he was great.
I loved him. He was wonderful.
Yeah, he was great.
I liked when he said, "Motherfucker, are you stabbing me right now?" Dislikes. Like I said, there's a twist I felt that went a little bit too far, and it does,
Way too far.
It does sort of take you out of it a bit.
The transition between prisoner to prisoner that's kind of manipulating the captor was really jarring and too fast.
That I disagree with.
I think it was jarring and too fast.
I don't think so at all, because that was given what given her character, it was not.
I still think it was from helpless to manipulator it was just too much.
I felt the ending could have been done a little better. Personally, I liked there was a specific way I wanted the film to end, and I knew it probably wasn't going to go that way, but I wanted it to, and so when it didn't, I was a little disappointed.
I think we didn't even discuss this, but I think we're in agreement there.
Yeah.
But also, the ending itself wasn't so great in general. Like, I'm kind of giving it a little leeway because it ends in a way that I think is a little open to interpretation, but if you interpret it one way, it makes absolutely zero fucking sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which way the director intended.
Probably the way we were saying.
I hope so,
But
because the ending that we kind of discussed and we think what it means is okay. It's not great.
Like I said, there was a specific way I wanted this movie to end, so I was a little bummed out when it didn't end that way. But I mean, hey, whatever. That's the writer.
It just wasn't a very good ending.
It could have been, yeah.
It could have been much.
It could have been wrapped up a bit better, in my opinion. But I mean, hey, I loved just the overall like themes of this film. The message behind this film is really cool, and just the idea of like how it plays with the ideas of loneliness and acceptance and all those other things. Also, while being a subversive imprisonment flick.
I think it did really good with the first part of that, not so hot with the second
I think
part.
it did a lot more right than it did wrong, but it still had its flaws.
Yeah, yes, but one of the things that did the most wrong, I think, was the plot. That's what I feel.
Aspects of the plot, I would say.
Yeah, but a lot of aspects of the plot. Like, there was just enough of it where I was completely taken out of the movie at a lot of points.
Touché. What would you rate this film?
Meh.
Meh?
Yeah.
I'd say it's solid. I would say it's a solid movie. It's not, I was at the start and up until the halfway point, I was going to say it's a must-see because it was.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
me too. The first half of this movie is phenomenal.
And then it did
and then
kind
it takes
of
that stupid fucking twist.
It wasn't stupid. It was just
ruined.
I was hoping that it would be more mindfucky and then continue to play with my expectations throughout, and it sort of did, but it did so in a way that still kept true to the twist that happens, and I was a little disappointed with that. But I mean, overall, like I said, I would still say it's a solid film. I would still say to check this out if you're in the mood for a weird, uncomfortable, psychological mindfuck. It's on VOD right now on iTunes and shit. Give it a watch. I think at the very least, watch it for the performances because they're excellent.
The actors are great. I'll give that.
And yeah,
I think some people will really like this movie.
I definitely think some people will like this movie.
It's just
I liked this movie. I didn't really.
No,
like this
I think
movie.
there will be some people though that love this movie.
I'm sure.
I hated the twist. You thought the twist went too far. If someone watches this movie and is neutral about the twist or likes the twist, they're really gonna like this movie.
Yeah, and I think that's very possible. I think it's just it's something that didn't jive with me, but I think it could definitely.
That's why this definitely isn't a bad movie.
No, not at all.
It wasn't for me.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. That's that, guys. If you check out Pet, and if you see it, comment and tell us what you thought of all that stuff we talked about.
Yeah, all the vague shit we were saying.
Yeah,
because we don't want to spoil.
We didn't really want. I really don't want to spoil this movie because it's a very big mindfuck of a film, and I think that spoiling any aspect of it does a disservice to the film.
Yeah, this wasn't like it was a bad movie where it was like, who the hell cares?
No, this is not. No, this is something that I definitely think is at very least up for discussion.
Yeah, I think people should check out this movie.
Yeah,
if it interests them at all, they should.
That's that, guys. And if you like us and you like the people we talked about and the idea of the movie we talked about,
or if you hated it and you want to just talk about it,
or if you want to see us review the movie The Eyes of My Mother, watch this channel. That's going to be next. Thanks, guys, for watching, and, as always, like, comment, subscribe. We like you.
Tell your friends about us.
Yeah, please. We have no friends of our own. I'm going to try and make this quick, guys, because I don't really like doing this, but this is another one of those rare instances where I really felt I didn't articulate myself well enough in the review, and so I really wanted to just follow up with this and talk about my thoughts on the movie after I had some time to really mull it over and think about it. It really ultimately felt unfair of me to criticize a movie that is meant to defy expectations with a criticism of, oh, it didn't go the route I expected it to. Because when I was thinking about it, it really hit me. This movie is all about completely warping the expected and taking a route that's completely different. And ultimately, it's a love story. And so it follows a lot of those, like, typical, like, oh, destiny, this is, like, meant to be type traditions. And it's really weird. And it didn't really hit me until after the fact where I was like, oh, it's following typical love story conventions. And, like, when I thought about that after, I'm like, that's kind of fucking brilliant. And, like, it's a fucking twisted love story, but it follows the conventions of a love story nonetheless, and I think that's really cool. But I mean, it also turns a lot of those conventions on their head and does them in a really fucked up way. But that's kind of what makes this movie so awesome, and a lot of it just leaves you thinking and wondering, like, how much of this was planned and how much... It really is a movie that leaves you wondering what was real and who exactly was right in the situation, and I think that's kind of fucking awesome. Like, this is a movie that I had to sit with for a while, but it really ended up, like, growing on me way more. I still am going to stand by my rating of solid, but I just really wanted to stress that it's the kind of movie that, like, the more I thought about it, the more I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I felt that I wanted to just express that on here before the video ends. So, yeah. As always, guys, you know, thank you so much for watching, and, you know, if you like us, Mike's not here anymore, but if you like us anyway, click down there and subscribe and like and comment and tell us what you thought of Pet, because I'm actually really curious what other people thought of this movie. And, yeah, thank you so much, guys. See you soon.